So, you want to buy a home, but the thought of a 7% interest rate is keeping you on the fence, right? Many people listen to the news on television, on their phones, maybe even listen to intelligent people on podcasts, thinking that they are going to give them great real estate advice. But would you ask your neighbor who's a lawyer for medical advice? Heck no! Just because someone is smart does not mean they have the expertise to give you the best advice. So I'd like to introduce you to Stephanie Medlock with Benchmark Mortgage. She has been one of my trusted partners for over 3 years and is an expert in the mortgage industry. She is going to break down the numbers for us and show you exactly why buying now can save you tens of thousands of dollars. Don't believe it? Stick around.
There's all this discussion, so I wanted to talk today a little bit about math, psychology, and mortgages. So I think everybody is so fixated on getting a lower rate, we're really not thinking about it in terms from a financial standpoint. So I think it's more of a psychological thing. People get a better interest rate, they get excited, they buy a house and they can brag about what a great rate they had. So let's just say you bought a house this year, okay? So to be devil's advocate for a second, let's say you bought in 2024 with rates higher at 7%, let's say. So let's say the purchase price is $500,000, you put down 5%. That's going to be $25,000. So let's say your loan amount's $475,000. So look here at this chart, and if you look at the breakdown of here, you're going to see a breakdown of the principal and interest that's $3,160, okay? So that's the payment if you bought now just for the principal and interest. But let's look at take a look at appreciation. KCM says that a national average this year is going to be around 3.78% as far as the home's value going up. Now that's a national average. Charleston, Berkeley, Dorchester, where we live here on the coast in Carolina, is slightly higher. But just to be worst case scenario, I'm going to use the 3.78%. So that same $500,000 house is going to be worth $18,900 more dollars next year. So let's say buyer 2, flash forward, they wait and buy that same exact house for $500,000, but rates are 6%. But the kicker is now they're going to have to pay $518,900 for that home because they waited to buy. And that is being worst case scenario. It will probably be even higher. So right now, even though you had a slightly higher payment, if you look at if borrower number 2 waited to buy with 5% down, they're going to borrow more money because they're borrowing on a higher purchase price. So now their loan amount, if you look here, is going to be $492,955. So they're borrowing on a higher purchase price, and now the principal and interest is $2,956. But that looks great, right? So if you compare these two, you're going to see a $204 cheaper payment for the borrower that wait. So great job, right? But if you look at it, you don't want to be so fast to look at these numbers and let it trick you, because even though they have a slightly better payment as far as the borrower that waited in 2025, you're going to be saving $204 a month. But if you take a deeper look into this, if you look with buyer 1 again, all they're going to do is refinance that mortgage as soon as rates drop. So when rates drop in, let's say 18 months, they're going to refinance. So let's take 18 months times $204. That's $3,672 that they spent to have a higher rate. But they're not going to pay $18,900 more dollars for the home. So technically speaking, if you take those two numbers, how much extra they paid in higher rate payments minus what they, the savings that they didn't pay extra for the house, they're almost $15,000 plus to the good. So the buyer in 24, when they refinance, let's take a look at that even further. So if you take a look at this chart here, you're going to look that because they've been in this mortgage now for 18 months, their loan balance is going to be even lower. So now they're going to refinance based if they had not paid any additional payments. They're going to be paying about $467,633 on the loan amount. Let's say they took that same 6% interest rate, right? Now their principal and interest is $2,804. But the person that waited to buy is actually paying more in monthly principal and interest payments at the $2,956. So there's no longer a $204 cheaper payment here. Now the buyer that bought in 2024 is actually $150 cheaper in monthly payment, and they saved the $15,000+ originally for the loan. And so just for a fun little money hack, I like to kind of show you guys a fun little thing where I always say, if you can qualify for the home and move your budget around, let's say you've gotten used to paying the slightly higher mortgage payment, even though it was a little uncomfortable, but you decide, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and continue making that $204 payment that I was paying originally. So each month when you get your mortgage statement, there's gonna be an area that says towards principal reduction. If you put that $204 in there every month, and it doesn't have to be every month, but let's just say you were able to do it every month at $204 because you were already paying it, continue to pay it, and then apply it towards principal each month, that is going to save you such a substantial amount on interest, you won't even believe it. If you look here at the amortization chart, you're gonna see total interest that you would save on the life of the loan is $132,681. So that's a significant amount of interest. And if you look at the years, it's also shaving close to about 5 years off of your loan. So I know sometimes we're in an environment where, people, there's lots of inventory and price of homes are maybe stable, but we're not in that market, guys. Inventory is at all-time low in our areas and across the nation. People aren't moving because they had these really good rates from the COVID years. And so just keep in mind, with low inventory and the way things are shuffling around, price of homes will not go down. And in some cases, I've even read articles where now people that had those 3.5%, 4% amazing rates, now that they've had those rates for 4 to 5 years, now they're almost stuck where they're at because now they can't even afford to buy. So, keep in mind too that if you wait to buy, you're also going to be competing with multiple offers. As soon as these rates go below 6%, you're going to be paying more for the home. You're going to be waiving appraisal contingencies, financing contingencies, and you're not going to get a lot of help from the seller as far as, any kind of closing cost. So it's a really good idea because when these rates drop to 6%, there are so many people waiting on the sideline, ready to buy. Price of homes are not going to go down. So just be very mindful of waiting too long because you might miss your opportunity to qualify for the home that you really want and the price point that you can still afford. So I just wanted to share this today because a lot of times it's just a psychology thing. I hope you can reach out and let me know if you have any questions.